right, so let's talk about 30-minute blogging. And tonight we want to dive into what you can do with blogging to build your business, what you can do if you want to create a business just using blogging. It's the principles that really matter when it comes to this, and that is what we want to discuss. What are the principles? So let's talk about what blogging is. And it's the regular creation of information and content delivered to a regular audience. I probably could have said targeted also. These people are looking for specific information. So they're not just looking for general information on the topic. You have narrowly defined a particular area. So a business blog is not necessarily a blog, right? It's a news site. If you are talking about something specific about business, as much as you can niche it down, you want to do that. Blogging is basically delivering something to an audience that wants something specific. That's why they come back to what is a blog. And I'll kind of get to that here in a minute. Blogging has traditionally meant that it's written content, right? That's what a blog has traditionally been. And it's typically done on WordPress or some kind of similar platform. Some people use Blogspot or other things like that. So the platform is not important, but that's what blogging has traditionally been. Somebody writes about 300 to 1,000 words, and people read it on a regular basis. They respond to it. They socialize it. They share it. And written content, though, and this is really what's important about what we want to talk about here tonight, is not the entire universe of blogging anymore. So if you want to define what delivering regular content is, it's not written content anymore. It doesn't have to be. In fact, we've seen video blogs and YouTube channels, people who create content on a regular basis, and they have a regular following, and they have a regular stream of people who look forward to this content that they are producing, whatever regular is, right? If regular is daily, if regular is weekly, if regular is monthly, there are people who look forward to it, and it functions like a blog. It functions like the way a written blog used to. We know that there are what I would call an audio blog. People who do what's called online radio and podcasting, right? So basically, these are people who get on a platform and they will, on a regular basis, produce audio content. There are people who use Blog Talk Radio. There are people who use iTunes on a regular basis. Audio visual training, right? People who use sites like Facebook and they use the live feature, right? And again, this is regular. So we're talking about something that happens on a regular basis, not something that what I call is episodic. So in other words, it doesn't just happen here and there. It's something that's pretty regular. It's something that people expect. It's something that people look forward to. It's something that people schedule their time around. So audio visual training. Now, when I use the term training, I really mean that you're opening up something live. Basically what we're doing right here. You're going to be on live. You're going to be taking questions. You're going to be working with people. You're going to be kind of interacting with people. So interactive. And, of course, live in-person training, seminars and workshops. Now, you might say, now, how is that blogging? What does that have to do with anything? Well, if you're doing a regular training and you were doing it on a regular basis and you're delivering this content fairly so that people schedule their time around it, it is going to be almost the same as blogging. Because again, you have an audience of people who know what to expect and they're coming back to the very same thing every single time. So what do you need before you decide on which platform you're going to do? So maybe you're deciding, I'm going to do audio blogging. I'm going to do Facebook Live. I'm going to do YouTube Live. I'm going to continue to write. Well, what are you going to do first? You have to decide on a platform, but before you decide on that, what are you going to need? And this is probably going to be probably the most important part of what you're going to do before you decide on a platform. You need a subject, a topic, or a niche that you are knowledgeable about, or one that you can become knowledgeable about. You really do have to be able to tell people something. Otherwise, they're not going to come back. A blog or a podcast, whatever the case is, it really depends on you being knowledgeable enough for people to invite people back to what you're talking about. You do need to have some affinity toward it. You do need to like what you're talking about. And I'm not saying that you have to be in love with it or you have to have a passion about it and all the other stuff. What I am saying, though, you need to know what you're talking about, and it can't be drudgery to you, right? Because you've got to produce this content on a pretty regular basis. And I use the phrase that you've got to have the ability to take in a massive amount of content and give the audience the overflow. And this is really probably the most important thing. I mean, if you're going to be involved in internet marketing or some branch of internet marketing, you have to be willing to take in a massive amount of content, and you're going to give people back a little piece of it. Right? So whatever you're taking in on a regular basis, that is really what you should be blogging about. Now, if you're not taking in content on a regular basis, whatever your topic's going to be, this is probably going to be the starting point. Right? You need a steady diet of whatever it is you're going to be delivering inside of your niche. Right? And I know this stuff you know already. I'm not giving you anything new, but it bears saying that you and I really do, before we can give out a little bit of information, we got to be taking in a lot. The top of the funnel is always going to be wider than the bottom of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel is always really thin, and that's what people are going to be getting from you. They're going to be getting a little bit of all of this stuff that you're putting in at the top. And the stuff that you're putting in the top has got to be broad. You've got to be prolific in terms of what you're taking in. So in other words, your reading sources, your listening sources. And if you don't have a steady stream of whether it's blogs, books, newspapers, magazines, everything there is in your niche, everything there is on your topic, everything that you can get your hands on, whatever your topic is, you've got to begin to take that in. And I've always said that information overload is basically a situation where you and I have not decided on what our niche is. We have not narrowed it down yet. Because once you narrow it down, then there's no such thing as information overload. Because basically, you're probably trying to chase information. When you decide on your topic area and you narrow it down, you will be chasing more information than the information chasing you, because you will filter out everything else that isn't relevant to what you got to take in and give out to people. So if you're right now, you are experiencing information overload, it more than likely is the fact that you have not quite yet narrowed down where you're going to focus. And that is going to be that is a key decision before you start on a platform, before you start let's say you're going to start a Blog Talk Radio show. Well, what are you going to focus on? What are you going to give people? Even if you're going to go and get guests all the time, those guests have to fall into a genre. They've got to fall into a category. They've got to fall into a topic area. They've got to fall into a niche, whatever you want to call it. And in order to know who to contact, you've got to be taking in a lot of information. And that information has got to be focused in an area. Now, if you get what I'm saying, put the number 1 in the question box. It is the thing that is the most difficult thing for us to do, because there is so much information. It is the most difficult thing to do because there are so many different things that we have to then rule out. And it is a discipline for us to be able to then start ruling things out so we can get focused on the thing we're going to focus on. Focus on the thing we're going to major on. Now, this is also important. And this is one of the steps that, you probably know a number of people who are doing podcasts. I know a number of people who are doing YouTube channels. And here's the step that I think that if you and I could help them with something, it would be this. You've got to be able to see before you get started some alternative ways to monetize. Right? So don't start down in a niche and there's no way to monetize it. So again, it could be that, you could love the subject. The people could love hearing from you. But if there's no way to monetize it, then you're not going to be doing it long. Because in order to put in the kind of time to generate fantastic content, you have to be able to monetize. Right? So you've got to be able to see alternative ways to monetize. You need to be able to see potential information products or information products that have already been created. You've got to be able to see it. Sponsorship. So in other words, would somebody even, now I'm not saying that you have to have them lined up. I'm saying with the niche that you're choosing, with the topics you're choosing, are there going to be companies that want to reach the audience that would be interested in what you're talking about? Sponsorship, advertising, right? Are there going to be companies? Are there going to be people? Are there going to be, let's say, solo business owners who would be willing to advertise based on the stuff you're going to be talking about? Again, this is you do need to be able to see this part up front. Now, I'm not saying, if you don't have all the money, right? If you haven't gotten paid, don't do it. Don't start a blog. What I am saying, though, is you have to see these alternative ways of monetization, information products, sponsorship, advertising, and affiliate marketing. Are there products you can sell? Right? Are there products that you can become an affiliate and that you can sell when people come to your site, when they come to your, to your blog, when they come to your podcast, when they come to your radio show? Are there things that you can sell? Now, again, I'm not a big fan of doing affiliate marketing if you don't have the other three things. Right? If you don't have the other three things and you've got an audience, then what you and I have to do is we've got to develop these other three areas. We've got to develop information products before affiliate marketing. We've got to develop sponsorship before affiliate marketing. We need to develop people who would be willing to advertise with us before affiliate marketing. Again, I'm all about affiliate marketing, right? But again, there are three steps that will help you to control your destiny. And you don't want to put your let's say your monetization in the hands of somebody else. And that really is what affiliate marketing does, even though it is a viable source. And most people just skip right straight through to affiliate marketing. And really, there's no way to control that income stream, right? Even if you're building a regular audience, if you're relying on affiliate marketing, you have no control over what the other person does to take care of their customers. You have no control over whether or not the person keeps that product up. You have no control over how that person is going to relate to their customers. And so affiliate marketing is fantastic. It's a great way to make money. But you and I, again, have to, as much as we can, try to control our income stream. So if you get that, put the number 2 in the question box. If you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, and then you need what I call EMI. Right, or EMI, right? Evidence of monetizable interest, right? Evidence of monetizable interest in the subject. You need to have evidence of monetizable interest in the subject.